What's going on, everybody? How you guys doing tonight?
Dude, that sounds good. Damn. What mic you got? That sounds good.
I got a couple tricks on my sleeve.
Damn,
but this is my
You got a radio voice.
This is my Shure mic.
I like it.
So we still arguing about Jesus?
Kind of, in a way, yeah. I'm just trying to use
right.
these secular arguments, but yeah.
So are we waiting on the winner, or what's going on?
Well, I've got it scored up. I was just waiting on them to finish their post climax.
Shut up, yeah, I'll shut up. I'm sorry, I'll be quiet.
Post
Go ahead.
climax
At some point, there was another point of the debate I wanted to address with you guys, both of y'all.
So as for the scoring, this is a little bit more. So if y'all have seen me scoring on Grid's channel, those debates are 5 minutes long. And so the rubric is a lot more loose and more based on who controls the floor for the 5 minutes than anything else. This is more specifically only on the rubric and whether or not you made rhetorical points. And it was actually really close. I scored you at 50 points, Evan.
Okay.
And Duck, I scored you at 51.
Yeah, there you go.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Duck won?
Evan.
Hey,
Duck. Well,
can I
Duck,
get you
1 point.
yeah.
First time your buddy Duck's won anything in his life.
down here? Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Good job, Duck. Hey, man, I had fun with you. That was fun.
Yeah.
I
was
would
good.
have.
I'm sorry. Again, I apologize that I didn't have anything ready at all. I'm not going to explain why, but I was not ready in any way, shape, or form. So
You
I would have
still
called
did
it a
it,
draw.
and you held your own. What'd you say, Do?
No, I think the scoring was fair because I would have called it a draw.
Oh,
Oh,
come
wow.
on. You got to give me one on him. You got to give me one on him.
Hey,
yeah, just give him the one so he wins. It's fine.
I at least
person
predicted-
that
I predicted-
matters gave you a 1. So
Damn, you smashed me, Duck. Good job, bro.
I predicted
What's
what
the-
your opening statement was going to say. I didn't want it to be that way. I wanted to have a better because due diligence said that we were circling each other.
Yeah.
We were repeating ourselves. I wanted
Right,
to have
but
a
you
conversation
said that
where
I couldn't
knew
have a
what you were gonna say.
presupposition, and I do. My arguments are always going to be presuppositional. Always.
Yeah, but I
don't have this. I don't do the Andrew granting and
Okay.
secular. I don't do that. It's all presuppositional.
So let me say it this way. I'll make a point. One of the things I said was that we should spend 5 minutes talking about the evidence. Next time, I'll say we should spend 5 minutes talking about whatever Andrew Wilson and Jim Bob say, and we can agree on that.
Who's Jim Bob?
Yeah, Jim
Made by
Bob.
Jim Bob. You don't know?
You don't know who Jim Bob is?
You were
Oh
making
no,
this-
just kidding. I'm sorry. No, my bad.
No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, Jim
Yeah.
Bob's great. He's funny. I like Rob Noor. I like all those guys. I love especially when they go on Sarah's panel. And
Do you know?
stuff
Do you know where I get my stuff from? I get Greg Bonson. I got Doug Wilson. I have Jeff Durbin. I have Luke Wilson. Like, there's people. Yeah, there's
Luke Wilson, the actor.
No.
The really handsome blonde.
no.
guy.
He's a pastor apology as well. He's just a cool dude. So
Yeah.
he has.
So
If you've ever watched my channel, he has I did I guess I don't know what it's called. Anyways, I watched the show and then rebutted everything that was being said in the show in the podcast, and it's called God or Chaos, and I think it might be one of the best things I've ever heard in my life.
So I just wanted to say that you two were really talking past each other during the debate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Big Bang is procreation. It's all the same thing.
How?
And it's
Can you explain that?
Well,
It
I
doesn't
mean,
defy religion. Whatsoever.
do you not think that it's just banging?
Well,
Anson, quit it.
it's one.
I agree with
subject or
Anson on this
another,
one.
right?
Anson
That was
W.
good. That was funny. That was the W. That was funny. All right.
Oh man.
I'll take that. That was funny. Oh gosh. All right.
Yeah.
So it's an open panel. What are we doing?
Yeah. So I would say one thing. Maybe like this was a really esoteric sort of philosophical discussion.
Okay.
One of the things that I don't know if anyone wants this, but like places like the United States do have national questions right now, right? And so when
Yep.
I was preparing for a debate like this, and I was like in my heart of hearts kind of going through what sort of arguments I wanted to make, what my main point was going to be, it was difficult because I'm seeing, there's people talking about politics, Christian nationalism. There's people who are saying that instead of coming together, where we have this opportunity to build a better future, to share ideas, because we have the internet now. These are all like possible sort of things that we can do, right? We don't all need to be like crypto bros. We don't all need to do like high-speed trading. We don't all need to go on Breitbart for the purpose of like, uncovering sort of like, what the
Hell is
globalists are
Breitbart?
doing. But like my point is that like it's difficult to talk about like why would I oppose a God of the gaps, me Duck or me anyone? Why would I oppose the God of gaps fallacy when people are using this to either take away people's rights or they're using this to justify going to war? They're using stuff like this to say that we need to change what the nation is like.
What rights we? Okay, hang on. Stop that. War is evil. What rights are we taking away? And if you say Schmishmortion, I'm gonna freak out.
So, yeah, I think the main thing is in the manosphere. I'm hearing people talking about rolling back women's rights, about like,
that's not a right for women.
People in jest talk about changing marriage laws. Like this goes on and on and on and on, and it's an endless chain of bullshit, right? It's an endless chain.
It's not at all
bullshit. Like that's
okay, so
thou shalt not murder. Are you allowed to
wait? I want to hear from Matt because he's been super patient.
Yeah, sorry guys. I'll be quiet.
He said some really interesting things in the chat, and I feel like he can put words together and make sentences with his mouth.
Yeah.
I don't know. So first of all, Chairman, I'm a philosophy professor and an old friend of Duck's. And
awesome.
I just want to say, like, I have my students debate each other, just like sort of set up like this. Maybe not with as much profanity, and I try to, not voice phrases, but I don't mind profanity. But
this was toned down. It gets worse sometimes.
Yeah,
well, it's because you had me. I don't curse very much.
I just want to say your feedback of the debate was top tier. I thought that was excellent, and I'm going to be utilizing some of the things you said in my own. When I get feedback, because it's always hard to be like, if I thought one side sort of smashed the other side, right, to be diplomatic about it. But you found some really cool ways, and I'd love to see the rubric that you used for this. But I thought the debate was pretty good overall. I thought there was a lot of talking past each other, as Due Diligence said, maybe with when there's not like a clear specified premise that we're debating, sometimes it can get off the rails. That's not always a bad thing. Sometimes going in the weeds, I think, has a lot of interesting side effects. But yeah, I thought it was a great debate, and very interesting. I think Chairman's point about the Big Bang being creation, this idea that creation is sort of the lone province of religion, maybe isn't the best way to go. I would go more with what board secretary was saying, where God's not playing a direct role, but behind the scenes, maybe, right? We don't necessarily always, if I was a theist, I would say we don't always detect what God's doing, but we know God is working behind the scenes, as it were.
That's a good point, Matt. So when I was doing
so you're an agnostic. If you're not an atheist, you're an agnostic.
No, I'm an atheist. I'm an atheist.
Okay,
so
that means you're a theist.
Agnostic position, though.
That means you're a theist.
When I was doing debate prep, one of the things that I came across was that this is actually a really old critique, right? This is that the God of the gaps has also been used by theists, by Christians, to criticize other Christians, saying, well, you're not supposed to overwrite phenomenon. You're not supposed to overwrite stuff that happens, that we see with our eyes, stuff that we have feelings about, right? You're not supposed to overwrite that kind of stuff with an
Can you elaborate,
for God. And so,
Well, yeah. Hold on, wait. I want to address this chat. Okay. Glenn, if you have any issues with the polls, take them up with my board secretary.
Glenn, is there a third option?
I'm just messing with me directly, okay?
That means Glenn literally said that we both sucked. That's fun. All right, good.
No,
Yeah,
there is
I
other polls
didn't
on
say
which,
you
by
guys
the
both
way,
sucked.
Evan,
I just said there
everybody
should be a
thinks you
third
can rap
option.
faster than Duck.
So,
Just saying.
so anyways, I was just making this one small point that as
Okay.
when we're talking about when we're talking about like a Christian might say, well, you know, if your kid didn't understand their biology textbook, why in God's green acres, respectfully, are you saying that it's because God did it? Right? You can answer the question of why someone doesn't understand their biology textbook alongside being able to and so what Matt was basically saying is that, like, look, if there's something you don't
What?
understand, why don't you put God outside of it, and then you can do the thing you were doing, and you can also talk about the God you wanted to talk about. Like, there's
Bro,
Can I
what are
ask
you
a
talking
couple
about?
of questions, Doc?
That what the farts? Okay.
Can I ask a couple of questions, Doc, real quick?
yeah, go ahead, dude.
So, first question: is the biology textbook gonna give us an understanding on ethics?
A biology textbook, I think it does, and it can. You know, I brought up specifically
doesn't?
the example of Franz de Waal, who makes an argument that I think has to be dealt with. That if we see
Mhm.
pro-social, we see altruistic behavior in other species, we should conceive that that our moral positions are something that are baked into our biology.
Is that
Do you see how that
ethics?
works? Did you see how that worked there?
Yeah. I know. I understood what you said. I'm asking if you said that if I don't see it and I don't understand in my biology textbook, like I probably
But how would I answer that any different, Emmett?
I don't know. You're the ones who answer the questions. I'm gonna ask you another one.
So if I could,
apparently
I'll
it's very
offer.
hard.
So this is the other way I'd say it. Is that, you know, like, even a question like the death penalty or
I'm
like,
not talking about that. Can we go back to
elderly
my
people, should
question?
they have driver's
Okay,
license?
fine. Filibuster
Like,
is fine.
No, can elderly people have driver's license, right? I can
Oh,
not even
farts.
talking about
Cosmic thought,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. Just
like
filibustered
Harambe,
with the idea. I just want to
not
ask you
even
two
talking about
questions, but
monkeys
fine.
or anything like this. I can make a sociological argument that might be better for you. It's just better. And the
It's just
sociological
better.
argument says that I have what I have
Better than what?
is I have data and statistics about people who
Better
are safe
than what?
drivers. I have statistics about executing people.
Okay,
that
what
are
is worse then? Let's start with
Those are all
with
worse
normal.
things.
What is normal?
I'm not trying to. I'm saying those things are all
You're
less
using
desirable
words
than
that mean
the
absolutely
alternatives.
nothing if you
Well,
put
wait
it
a
in
minute.
context.
Is
I'm trying to
statistics
answer your
ever
question.
brought?
I thought I did.
Duck, are statistics ever really valid? Because I could find statistics that could refute your statistics. Like, we could go back and forth with statistics. Statistics are never really good, you know, thing to stand
Basis,
on.
yeah.
No, they are. When you're talking in generalities, like,
Oh
you
my
wanna know
gosh,
what
bundle
I
of sticks,
found.
get out of here.
If I took 100 people off the street, how
Mhm.
many of those people would exhibit X property? And that's a predictive power to that theory, right?
Predictive
Yeah,
power
but
of what?
he's saying something bigger than that, which is presupposing that altruism is good among the bonobos. Like, he's
Right.
presupposing that is the good behavior.
No,
I don't even know
and-
what good is, and he's like
and
saying,
what
"Well, there's
behavioral
good. What
studies
is
have
that?"
shown. But by the way, what behavioral studies
what
have
is
shown
good?
is that it leads to an increase of robustness for the population to weather things like a decrease in population.
Is
It
there
hel-
is
It
there
helps them
something?
live longer. It helps them.
It-
So, for example,
Is there such thing
Why is that
as
good?
you want an example?
overpopulation?
Would you like an example of how it
No,
helps?
I don't want to.
No,
is that good?
no. I don't want an example because literally Emmett was talking to Duck and you interrupted. So shut the heck up.
So did Glenn. So calm down.
Do you know if it
when
exists
younger
something that's
primates
called
chew the food?
overpopulation?
When younger primates chew the food for older primates, that's a
Oh,
form of altruism
Melvin,
that helps
can
them
you answer
live
my
longer.
question? I said I don't want an example. Is there such a thing as overpopulation?
Yes, but I'm
So
still not
is it
done
good
saying
or
what I'm
bad?
saying. Emmett, I still wasn't done saying what I was saying.
Is
right?
that
So,
good or bad?
do you think it's good when bonobos
I'm
live longer
asking you.
because
You said
younger bonobos
population
chew their
was the
food for
good
them?
thing. So if there's overpopulation, is that good or bad?
Do you think it's good when younger bonobos?
Why does it matter
would
what
like
we
to-
chew the
subjectively
food for
think?
the
I would
older
like
I
to
don't
bonobos
care
answer-
so that
about
way they live
younger
longer?
or bad. We were
David,
talking
I would like
about
to answer
population.
I would like to answer your inquiries if you want to ask them to me, Emmett. I can give you some straight answers.
By the way, the answer is yes. It is good when the younger
It's good.
generation does
Overpopulation
altruism
is
for,
good. Okay.
for the older generation? I don't know. I'm answering my own question first because I also asked.
Oh,
my
you're gonna
question
answer
first.
your own question, not the question. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and just
Emmett,
talk to yourself?
Emmett,
So
do you
I
want
said,
some?
ask me.
Do you want some alone time with the Furby? It seems like you two have some.
I can go with Melvin, whatever you want. I don't really like.
You two are really like passionate about each other. Apparently,
Yeah, let 'em
If
go
you
one
send
on
us,
one,
if
that'd
you
be
send
fun.
us both to the back, I will not be. I will
No,
not.
you
No,
guys
no,
know I
no,
love
he's
Emmett and I
saying,
love Matt. Why don't you guys get
You
at each other
okay?
in the private
I
chat?
would like a
instead?
one-on-one
Why don't
with
you guys
Emmett.
get at each other in the private chat?
you
I
want
want to
to
see what y'all got to say back here.
you want alone time with them in the back, but not out in the open. That's a little weird. to
I'd
me.
put it up
I
front.
just,
That's
I just
harder
want
for
to.
sure.
I just want to get away. I just want to get shot away with,
Earth.
like, save them from this monster.
Yeah.
Right.
So I want to talk about
Right.
what Matt was saying about how great I am at scoring. That was the best part of the panel so far. I really appreciate.
You always
it.
lead with complimenting the host, and then everyone likes it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
If anybody else wants to compliment the host, I will accept those right now.
You
I already
are.
did answer, and I said thank you. Channel's amazing. This whole thing was amazing. You're amazing.
Yeah, but
And I gotta say that sideways thing you're doing, it's one of the coolest things I've seen. So
yeah, Matt's compliment was better though.
oh yeah, well, I'm not very good at complimenting. That's why
I mean, he said thank you for the debate, and this was like a great channel. He had a lot of fun.
See,
But
that
Matt,
wasn't a
Matt
compliment.
technically did like 3 things, right? If you remember what he said, he complimented Anson, he introduced himself, and then he also offered all 3 distinct siloed things we could discuss. And then he, at the third thing that he was doing and
Stop.
And instead what he was doing.
You
is he
forgot
was
the part
offering
where he
an
said he
alternative
loves you a
debate
lot.
we had.
So
Right.
I love Matt a lot too. I love Matt.
hey, but you forgot to say that he loves you a lot. So.
Evan, I do want to say I thought you were very magnanimous throughout the debate as well. Though you did a good job. Because I raise my voice when I debate, and I often get like, they're like, "Why are you yelling?" And I'm like, "It's just my voice when I get."
It's an inflection. I'm not trying to be a turd burglar. I'm
like that too. Yeah,
it's actually that you're autistic.
It very well might be.
There's nothing.
Cosmic Fox. I'm
autism.
literally.
Level of autism.
I wish I could mute you so I couldn't hear what you're saying.
I miss you, Evan. I wish we were on more panels together.
Yeah, I miss the fact when you said that you wanted the blood of my babies. So shut up. I don't like
Wait,
you.
is that true? Are there a lot of simp single divorcees here? All right, so everybody starting with Jorts, are you a simp single divorcee?
No, I'm married.
Okay.
I'm married with 4 kids.
Okay, Patrick, are you a simp single divorcee?
You know that I'm not.
Yeah, I know you're Matt. Are you a simp single divorcee?
No, you might have seen my kid crawl behind my chair.
Yeah.
I told her I was okay.
Are you a simp single divorcee?
I was, but I got remarried.
Oh, congratulations! Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Emmett, rehab. Emmett,
are you a simp single divorcee?
I'll just say no.
Yeah. Duck,
That's a yes.
are you a simp single divorcee?
No.
Well, I mean, I know you're a simp. Are you divorced?
No.
Oh, okay.
What
about
the fuck?
Glenn, are you a simp single divorcee?
No.
Yeah, I'd say that you're like the
You don't
opposite
sound
of
like
a
one.
simp. And I'm not going to ask the Furby because.
Well, I was actually going to try to find a way to say yes.
All right. So,
yes.
anyway, let's
Melvin, yes, yeah.
let's just do what
That's
we were
some
doing
cool
before.
loser behavior.
No, Lord.
So, yeah.
Oh, you
I would
dropped. Thank you. Good golly, thank you.
I think Evan, you were on the right path after the debate was over. You were on the right path. Like when you were sitting here you were essentially calling into question his inductive reasoning for why he can justify these things. I thought you should have done that for the scientific method throughout the entire debate. I thought you should have shotgunned him more on like super obscure things that nobody knows about, like why like quantum mechanics and quantum physics don't make sense. Make him make sense of it because I don't have to justify that. You're the
I tried to. I'm not very
Like,
smart. Listen,
I
you're
thought,
talking
like-
to somebody who's stupid. So
Yeah,
You
you
coulda-
could
you coulda
bridge the gap
shotgunned
between
him.
Newtonian and
you could have been like
Newtonian.
Bonobo book is your Bible. You could have trolled him super
Yeah.
hard, bro.
dude, listen,
Uh,
you're talking to a guy who's stupid. I don't know much. I just do what I do. So
The random
thought it was
book that happened to happen.
Right.
So
All right,
when
so
you come to
there's a-
conclusions based on stupidity, it's less
There's an
likely to be true.
accusation. There's an accusation in the chat
Don't
from
talk to
Mother
me, Cosmic.
Firefly, formerly known as Kitty. Furby, what planet are you on?
Your mom.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
Well,
See,
she needs somebody. If you could fill that gap, that would be nice.
Oh yeah, no, I fill that gap. Trust me.
yeah, with your dick because you're not a woman, you're a dude.
Good one, Evan. That was really high IQ. Very, very strong.
Did I just not
That
call
wasn't
myself
even Emmett who
stupid?
said it.
I literally call
love-
myself stupid.
I love how everybody's criticisms of me go above like a grade 2 level here. It's
Bro.
and that's not.
I called myself stupid, so obviously my IQ
All
is
right,
not high.
all right, Evan. There's no need for that. There are much more creative
I'm
ways
sorry.
to do that.
I'm sorry.
Okay?
I'm sorry.
You be more creative.
All right, I'm sorry.
I
I don't
Furby.
like that person. I don't like this person.
Well, I mean, control your
Yeah, 'cause I
reaction
love
to your
you.
emotions.
All
Man,
right.
you know?
Yeah. No, you're right.
Nobody
I'm
likes
right.
that person.
So,
Evan,
Emmett,
you
I
know
got
you
a
hate
question
me
for
last
you.
night?
How come
yeah,
every
please.
time like somebody goes against like the validity of God or the existence of God, people always run to the position as to how you get ethics or morality as if man can't come to some type of morality or ethics on his own.
Okay.
How does it do
what
that?
is,
How does
let
it
me-
do it on
let
its
me-
own?
It's for me. It's for me. Give me a second.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so the question is, where do ethics and morality come from? And usually there's two paths, and they're they're completely opposite. And it's one, I have a higher thing that's my standard, and I am posing myself against the standard, and the other one is myself. And most of the time, especially when it comes to atheism, it's more preference, which is what I think is best, and that's the only standard they have.
That's
not-
not the only two options.
Yeah,
that's a
but-
binary.
That's
false-
that.
false-
Well,
a false
I've-
That's
I've
most of the
never
options. He's
heard-
right.
I've never
Yeah.
heard anything else except those two options and a bunch of words that try to make it.
Yeah.
Have you
that's
never
not my
heard
preference.
do unto
So,
others as you want done unto
My
yourself?
question
That's from the
is to
Bible.
you,
It also
Cosmic
why
Fox.
why
It's
don't
also
you
an
believe
atheist
that
morality.
man can't
It's not
come
at
to
all.
some
Came
from
form
the
of
Bible,
ethics
you
or
dumb fart.
morality on
Wait,
its
wait, wait.
own without
So do
God?
I need
That's
to
my
believe in
question to you.
God? Do I need to believe in God to believe?
Melvin,
that
If
can
you're
I
going to
please
use
hear
God's
you?
words, then yes, you dumb, stupid, freaking idiot.
No, you
Again,
can. You
I'm
can
gonna
do an internal
ask the
critique.
question a second time and see if you can actually figure it out.
Melvin, can I please hear due diligence? Can I please do that?
So my question was to you is why do you believe that man can't come to some type of ethics or morality without God? What
I
is your
think-
position?
I think man deludes itself usually in the idea of itself, and when it doesn't have like this higher standard, it will
No.
always end up in some kind of
Man always elevates
Can he-
itself.
do you
And that,
mind-
Yeah,
do you
man
mind if he
makes
can
himself
finish without-
his own God, is what
Oh.
it is. We
Yeah,
we
if man's
put our
on- if-
own
if-
individual survival
Can,
first.
can I please
most
finish
all-
my statement?
No.
yeah,
No,
sorry,
yeah,
Emmett. I'm
yeah.
sorry, Emmett. I'm sorry, Emmett. Yeah.
Bye, Kitty. Thank you
Okay.
for coming.
So
Emmett,
I-
I'd love to piggyback on his question. I have another follow-up question.
Yeah, I
Go on.
will.
Yeah.
I think that when you have you need to have either a standard above you that you will hold up, or you're always going to go ahead and come back to you as the moral standard. And whenever we see that, it always devolves, like society in and of itself devolves, because my preferences are not the same for you, and my preference could involve something really bad happening to you.
So I'm gonna respond and I'm gonna get out the way and let Matt go. So
Okay.
you said that you appeal to something higher, but
Yeah.
everybody says that in every religion. You know what I'm saying? So then, in essence,
Yeah.
we have to believe you, and then I will follow up.
No,
by-
you don't have to believe me. I'm
Excuse
not
me,
the
excuse me.
standard.
I didn't interrupt you.
Okay,
Because you
sorry.
don't believe that you are the standard, but I'm saying that if you're asking me to believe you, you're saying that you're the standard because you're saying that you're appealing to God, but I don't believe in your God. So it leaves a person like me to believe you. But to say that man can't come to some type of subjective morality and it has to be objective, as if man can't learn from his errors, right? And eventually come to some type of social contract of ethics or morality that we just all agree to. That would be my response.
All right, I
Well,
think Viking
you
wants
are-
to.
Can
I
I?
think Viking. Hold on, wait.
Can
I
I
think
get in
Viking
on?
wants.
Okay.
I think Viking wants to come up, so I'm gonna have to make some room on the studio. Okay, so somebody's gonna have to go.
All right, so I want to
It's
I
always
want to get in
Mel.
on this.
Can I make an argument real quick to what he
morality
just said?
Sure.
To what Mel just said? Or
So
what Evan just
yeah, I can't read. Sorry, my screen's so freaking small. Dawn diligence.
Due diligence. Due
Due
Okay,
diligence.
Due
sorry,
diligence.
sorry. I'm sorry. If I smash my freaking thumb with a hammer, right, and I do it again, and I do it again, and I do it again, is that not just part of life?
No.
It's not. Okay. All right.
No,
Sure.
it's not. I don't know what you're trying.
Okay.
Okay. Was I supposed to say yes? I don't think smashing your hammer finger with a thumb over and over again is a part of life.
Not
I don't
on.
know.
I'm not saying on purpose. This isn't purposefully. This is me nailing something into a wall, and I keep smashing my thumb.
Make your point.
I'm making your point for you that against what you just said to Emmett.
Can somebody? I don't understand what you're saying.
I don't see it either.
Yeah, I don't.
So Melanie, I just wanted to let you know that the only reason why I treat you differently than other people is because you remind me so much of myself. And it's hard to have another narcissist like me on the panel because it takes away from
Hanson, are you
attention that's
saying
supposed to
you're
go to me.
trans?
No,
Anson, you're not a freaking narcissist. Come on, stop.
Well,
You did like when I
I wanted to
complimented
get in
him.
on this morality debate.
Yeah,
Um,
Glenn, please.
So you're probably not going to like my opinion, though. I don't think for the reason why Christians say Christianity, they need to have Christianity in order to have morality. I think that's a bunch of bull. I don't think Christianity itself can or has the trump card or the monopoly on morality. And it's based on their own scriptures, based on the Bible itself. I could get into it if you want, but let's just say like this. For one, there have been Christian leaders, governments, institutions that committed genocides, torture, slavery, systemic oppression, all while claiming to represent God. Conversely, many non-Christians, including atheists, like Gnostics, Buddhists, and Hindus, have led lives defined by peace, compassion, and justice. So if access to Christian morality doesn't reliably produce moral behaviors, then how can it ultimately be the source of morality?
Let's go.
Who are Christians?
You mean like the Indians that have
Yeah.
a caste
No, you
system?
can't-
And they
Thank
have
you.
people that are
Good question. Who asked that? Who asked who are Christian? That's
we cannot do the no Scotsman or the true Scotsman fallacy. Who's a real Christian? That's bad. That's a real bad logical fallacy. Let's not do that.
I'm
really
asking
not.
you to
Anybody
define it.
that's
You use
self-proclaiming
words
to be a
define
Christian.
them.
We're gonna put them in that. We're gonna put them in that group.
Why?
Because they claim their faith, right? They state their claim. This is my faith.
Just because
Why
you
would
say
not be?
something doesn't make it true. If I say I'm
Okay,
a
then
giraffe,
I
am I a
think-
giraffe?
So then I should just say, okay, the person that said, yeah, I murdered that person. No, I don't believe them.
Glenn, I'm Japanese. Am I Japanese?
Why would
No,
you
you
not
said-
believe them?
Because
just
you said, why
Japanese.
should I believe them if they said it was true?
I identify
doesn't make any
myself as
sense.
Japanese.
It makes zero sense.
If someone just said that they
gonna
murdered
attack
somebody, why
helicopter.
should I believe them but they say it may not be true? Just as you
Please
said.
don't
If
be-
somebody
no, but
said they're
Glenn,
Christian-
Glenn,
if somebody said they're
Glenn.
Christian, why should I believe them?
I
Glenn,
agree
this
with
is
your
the
argument,
logical
but the
fallacy.
police-
I've never heard you do this before.
the
What are you
police-
talking
It's not a
about?
logical fallacy.
Glenn,
I'm
the
pointing
police,
out a
literally,
fact.
literally, Glenn, the police don't believe people when they come in to confess a murder. You have to go show evidence.
Right,
Yeah.
you gotta prove them
I mean,
guilty.
I agree with
was
your
law
main
enforcement, I understand.
point. I don't think Evan says anything good ever, but like, dude,
Oh, damn, Doc.
I lost your argument though. No
That
offense.
hurt my feelings a little
Not
bit,
done
buddy.
with my argument.
All right.
Two,
I think sorry.
I'm not done with my argument. Morality should not be measured by what people do. It should be measured
Why?
by what people do, not by what they believe or they profess. There's many people that profess to be Christian or whatever, and they still commit atrocities and they do a lot of bad things.
That would make them not the thing that they are. That's like saying, like, if a book
you cannot
was
say that.
a movie.
That is not
Hang
true.
on, Glenn.
That is
Hang on,
not true.
Glenn, guys.
That
If
is
a
not
book
true.
was a
You
movie,
gotta
is
let
that a book
Glenn
or a
finish,
movie?
though, Evan.
That's
Why don't
you're
you
not
let him
making
finish?
sense. If somebody does something bad, that does not make them no longer a thing.
I'm straight,
He
but I
just made
fuck
a
guys.
mistake.
Am I straight? Come on, bro.
Yeah, thank you. There you go.
No, but Christians sin all the time, right?
Yes,
Well, I
they all
mean, you
fall
can
short.
still be
Everyone falls
straight
short
and
of
lay with
the
a man.
That's
I mean,
the
there's-
point.
Exactly. So that's why.
Japanese.
No, you can't.
Yeah, look. Okay, let me paint a picture for you. You're at an orgy. The lights are all off. You know, there's no way to know exactly whose mouth was on you, but you assume that it was a woman, right? Right?
Anson, stop. What the farts?
The answer
Stop.
is no.
That was good, brother. That was good. That was funny.
Anson, I think you just need to.
Question, Matt.
I think Anson just needs to pin
Oh,
no
yeah.
comments.
If the
no
answer is
comments
probably
of the
not to
conversation
that
going.
question, it's just no.
I would love, so one thing I always wonder about the foundations of religious morality is there's this, so Socrates has this Euthyphro dilemma where he says, look, how does the relationship between God and morality work, right? Is something good because God commands it to be good? Or
Yes.
is it good and then God says that it's good
No.
because it is good?
The first one.
So divine command theory. So God could switch tomorrow and murder would be all right.
How would that be? No. He can do as he pleases. He's the creator of the universe.
Yeah.
So anything
so
he
can make
does
murder okay
is
tomorrow.
yes. Murder could be
Okay.
murder could be bad yesterday and today and tomorrow if you're God. Yes.
But God can change it. He can make it so murder was okay.
God never
tomorrow.
changes.
No.
I would.
It doesn't
that would-
change.
that would be
It's an
argument.
unchanging thing.
Why?
I just
God can't-
told you why.
God doesn't have free will.
God doesn't is he okay? You're putting God in a box. Can God
No,
make
I'm
a
asking
stone?
God has
Hang
free
on. Can God make a stone big enough that he can't lift it up?
That's a question for you, not for me. I think omnipotence is a bad concept. It doesn't work.
I
Logically-
think that God puts himself in a box, says, "This is who I am. This is what I do," and it ends there.
So
I believe-
God does not have control over what's right and what's wrong because he already defined it.
No, he creates. Okay, so okay, are we going to? Are we trying to get to the whole like God is the reason for abortion? Is that where we're going? Oh, sorry, Smith's abortion.
No, that's
Crap.
no. I'm asking
Okay.
you what the relationship between right and wrong and God's will or God's fixing. it.
God defines what is right and what is
How?
wrong, and it ends there.
How?
Because he's the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning,
No,
and
I'm
the
asking.
end.
Like, does he decide, or is it something that was already predetermined by God's character?
What does it matter if it's decided or predetermined? What does it matter?
Because God doesn't have the ability to change what's right and wrong if it's predetermined.
That's not true at all.
That's literally what predetermined.
God is good and God is
That's literally
unchanging
what that
by his
means.
own nature.
God is good no matter what. He
So
can set.
He does
Listen,
not have the power to change right and wrong.
God
And
isn't
then-
bound.
and then-
ZD Den is making a point here that's valid. So God isn't bound by all of the things that the rest of the universe is bound by, like having to have something exist before he existed,
Sure.
or anything else, right? Because he's a supernatural being, and therefore he's not human. And any kind of logical arguments that you try and apply to him don't work because he exists outside of logic.
right? Let's use the Egyptian.
I mean, I
right?
don't know
Let's
what that
use
means.
Exodus
What does it mean
and the Egyptians, right? To where
Sure.
he decided at that point
I
to
like
do
this
what
guy.
he did
So
to
he
them,
decided.
right? So
he changed it.
that's
No.
it's not changing it. It's already what he wanted to do,
So it's predetermined.
right? It's a presupposition.
So he can't. He does not have the power to change right and wrong.
What are you talking
God
about? Okay,
is good and God is unchanging. So-
You're not making an argument, dude. You're just saying like
no. I'm
stupid
trying
words.
to ask you. I'm trying to get you to specify your claim on the relationship between.
No, you're trying to get me to a
morality-
gotcha, but you're not making any. Okay,
No, I'm not trying to
make
make
an
you-
argument that makes sense. Shut up. Make an argument that makes sense.
But I'm not making an argument. I'm asking questions.
Make an argument that makes sense. Otherwise, everything you're saying is stupid.
Calm
All right,
down,
here's
Jim
an
Bob.
argument
Calm
that
down,
makes
Jim Bob.
sense.
Hang on.
This is what I want to know. This is what I want to know. If Christians say that God has written the laws on everyone's heart, right?
Sure.
On our hearts, then why do we
Sure,
need Christianity to be moral? If humans have already
I don't
an
think you
innate
need
sense of right and
Christianity to
wrong,
be moral.
the
What are you
moral
talking about? Nobody
compass,
says we
then-
need Christianity.
then
That's a
why
stupid argument.
Christianity isn't required to act morally at all.
Yeah, it's not required at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that it comes down to religion as a whole, not necessarily Christianity.
Well, not religion, because religion
No,
is
but
what?
it's
What does God?
nothing.
What does God call religion?
What?
What does God say religion is in the Bible?
Does he say what it is
Our
in the
state,
Bible?
right?
He sure does. Yeah.
And so
He said-
therefore,
It was just
So therefore,
You guys
that
are
would
are you
mean
guys
that-
all that stupid? You have no idea what Jesus said that religion is?
Oh my
No,
god.
Evan, but if you're
I don't
using
remember, Dave.
if you're using the
So-
Bible to prove God, to prove that God proves things, do you not see that there's a little bit like it's at least conceivable that this should be problematic, right? That sounds absurd, dude. It
So
sounds crazy.
when I hear someone say that, like, oh,
So if a book says
we need
that the
Christianity-
world
Hold
is
on,
14
Evan,
billion
Evan,
years
Evan,
old,
Evan,
do I believe it?
Evan, let me talk. Let me just
Sorry,
ask this
I'm
question.
trying
yeah,
to
yeah,
duck,
you
but yeah.
should.
Right.
So
What are you
if
talking
Christians-
about? A book said it.
Oh my god.
Sorry, I'll be quiet, Glenn. I'm sorry, I'll be quiet. All right.
If Christians are saying they have the monopoly on morality because
No.
God says so, right? Hold on. There
Yeah.
I've heard that argument. So if
I
that's the
wanted to
case,
respond.
if God has written the laws on our hearts, then we do not need a religion. Actually, then we do not need a priest or divine commandments or even churches or even scriptures, because the law is already written on our hearts. We would be already morally aware.
I do
Glenn,
think a lot of Christians
what
would
is a
agree with that,
religion?
though.
Yeah.
What is
and I think
religion?
that was
Christians would,
proven in the
yeah.
debate when he said bonobos are altruistic, and that's good. He presupposed
No, hang
that.
on.
So yeah, it
Glenn.
was written on his heart. Oh wow.
No.
What
but you gotta
is-
answer
what
my
is-
question first? You gotta answer my
Glenn.
question first. No,
I'll
no.
answer that
Answer
question.
my
I'll
question first.
I'll answer your question, Glenn. That's the whole concept of what a Gentile is. Even though the word is supposed to be written on everybody's hearts, you have
No.
Gentiles, people that don't follow the law. That's what a Gentile is.
Yeah.
So you
It
can
doesn't
have free
follow
will.
the
You
law.
can
That
have,
has nothing
have
to
it-
do with the morality that's
Yes, it
written
is
on
because
people's
the law is morality. It's
What
not
is the
one and
law?
Same thing.
What is the law?
So we're all Jews.
The
now?
law is morality. The
The law might
What
lead
is the law?
to morality. Okay. He's talking like the 10 Commandments and the laws that were
He's not
given
talking
to
the Ten Commandments because he's not even naming anything.
Yeah, no, because
just-
the law
That's what I
changes
said.
with Jesus.
So
Correct. So therefore,
So again, Glenn, what is religion? Please define.
Evan, you didn't answer my question, so I'm not answering yours.
Okay,
Yeah,
ask
that's
it again.
fair.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
If God's law is already written on your heart,
Okay.
why do you need Christianity? Why do you need divine commandments, priests, churches, or even scriptures? If essentially, if you believe with God's word, people are born with a moral awareness already.
So are you talking about like universalism? I'm confused with your
Hold up.
argument.
hang on. Glenn, the whole idea is that because of free will, we have the ability to reject.
Free will?
the most
Oh my
basic-
gosh.
The,
Free will is not a real thing.
really?
So
You're a Christian that
How
rejects
so?
free
A
will.
Christian that denies free will. That's
So
So
yeah,
I'm
Hold up,
my-
I want to have this. I want to find out what he's talking about because I was trying to respond to Glenn, but like, what are you talking about?
I don't believe. I believe free will is a thing in the sense that we choose evil when we choose free. When we have free will, right? We choose evil.
What?
We
No,
don't choose good.
we have free will in every single decision that we make. That is
Sure.
right,
And it
okay?
goes toward
So
toward evil.
Not necessarily.
Sure.
I see
How?
where-
Can you tell me how not?
You think everyone
Look at
chooses evil
everybody in the
every time?
Bible.
You can choose between different righteous decisions and different
Okay.
righteous paths that you're
Let's just go to a simple
Okay.
thing, right? With Peter, if we're using the Bible, let's go to Peter. When he was
Okay.
told he was going to die Christ 3 times, what did he do? He chose
His
evil
decision.
and
Yep.
denied Christ.
Well, doesn't your
That
book say
doesn't-
doesn't your book
You
say a
may-
whole lot of stuff about like God creating man to worship him and him having to have
Sure.
the free will to do it and
He
worshiping
created
God
us
is
to
like
worship
the first-
him, but
it's the
worshiping
first-
him.
It's the first one of the commandments, right? And you have free
Yeah.
will whether or not to follow the commandments.
No,
don't you have
but
free will for
worshiping
good
him
also?
is a decision that we make daily.
right.
it's just
that's
like getting
part
up.
of your free
Do you
will.
want to
Isn't
get
that-
up in
Okay.
the morning?
isn't
So
that
wait a
good?
second.
Anson,
Wait a second.
if you have a job that's a 9 to
Uh,
5, you want to get up every day and go do that job?
Well, yeah, if I like it.
No, that's what I'm asking. Do you want to do that thing?
Yeah, because it gives me meaning, because it makes me live
you
according to
meaning.
nature and
Okay.
reason. Yeah,
Right.
nature
People give you praise.
you find good in living according to nature and reason. You don't those are your higher powers that you point toward. You don't need
Those for higher
nihilism, and you don't.
powers.
Yeah,
I'm not
Yeah,
nihilist. This is
Evan,
not
real quick.
Gnostic
Evan, real
or-
quick. Reason isn't a scarce resource, right? I can apply
What's
reason
that?
about the Bible. Reason isn't a scarce resource. This is the
Okay.
God of the Gaps critique. I can apply reason to a story about the Bible. I can also apply reason to something I learned from science, right? And so there
Okay.
doesn't have to be like a.
Is there
it
faith?
doesn't have to
Is
conflict or be
both
like
of
a
those
conflict.
faith
It's not a
based?
scarce resource.
Are both of those faith based?
In my opinion, I don't think I don't
Are
think
both
science
of those
is
faith based? It's a
You
yes
can
or no
falsify
question.
Science. It's the answer is clearly a no. That's what I'm telling you right here.
Okay. So then you're saying no.
That's all
That's
I
not
said.
faith based.
That the only thing that I said is that is like it might be a very stupid way to look at it, but if I want to unpack what Evan believes, or if I'm sharing what Duck believes, in either case, like I would need to understand what we're talking about, right? I can't just have the only argument that I'm capable of making or talking to is that the Earth's
Right.
10,000 years old,
So
dude,
there's
from
some
the
sort
from
of
the
faith.
Bible, dude. Like I can't that can't
There's
be
some
the
sort
only,
of faith.
that can't be the only thing that we have here.
Why
right?
was Abraham? Why did he inherit the kingdom of God?
Okay, we're gonna take some time and let some
It's
people
faith.
who haven't talked a lot, Evan, to talk
Okay.
a little bit.
I'll
So,
shut up. He can kick me off.
No,
That's fine.
no, I'm not going to kick anybody off. No, I just want, because I'm sure that Patrick has some things that are worth saying.
Sure.
And
I'll shut up, yeah.
Emmett's a timid fellow, and he needs to talk a little bit. And I think he was triggered by some of the things that were said.
I like
So,
Emmett. So
Yeah, y'all go ahead and say some stuff.
After those guys, the woman would like to finish a sentence.
Yeah,
or
I'll be
two.
quiet. I'm going to mute my
The
mic.
woman did not
We
speak.
always want the woman to finish.
We don't let the woman
I'm so
speak
sorry.
here.
I'm so sorry.
Matt,
That was low hanging fruit.
thank you,
Me-
Matt.
Me and Beth actually debated that.
Yeah, who won? Yeah. No, sorry, I'm big.
Oh, that was on Grid's
I
channel. I
shouldn't
was
have.
there for that. I was there for that one. I forgot
That was
who won.
rough.
That was
That's what she said.
Anson's topic. That was crazy.
Thank you,
Beth,
Ann.
I'm not gonna lie, you were a great moderator tonight, but I think Beth doing blood sport debates on Grid's channel is the best, Beth.
Yep.
It's welcome to have the feminine energy there.
Really, I
For the-
appreciate
yeah.
that, Duck. I really do, because
The violent red pill crowd. No offense. No offense.
some of the red pill crowd don't like me much.
Why?
Just mute myself for a moment. I'm not red pill. So
I
I'm not a
I want
feminist.
to be clear. I did not think you were at all. You did not give off Red Pill vibes, Evan. Don't worry.
So
Let's
who was
hear from
supposed to go? 'Cause-
Patrick.
Yeah, who was Patrick?
Board
Patrick-
Sergeant at Arms.
Board
What's up?
Sergeant at Arms. Yeah, go ahead, Patrick.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't have a ton to say. I was gonna defer to Emmett. Since he's deferring to me, though, I guess to answer Matt's question would be that, I mean, God is good and God is unchanging. I think it does lead somewhat into what Anson is saying, as far as it's difficult to make logical arguments that can encompass God. But I think that from within Orthodox Christianity, we would recognize that while we're made in the image of God, we have certain faculties that would lead us to morality and things. For example, we can't always understand everything at the same time,
Yeah.
because we're made in God's image. We do things we don't understand. We have proclivities towards things we don't understand. We understand that we have a proclivity towards sin due to the fall of Adam, which is that all of that stuff is different than the way the Protestants view it. But I mean, I think there's a lot of answers to the questions that you asked. I mean, I obviously disagree
Oh,
with
sure,
you
yeah.
on free will and stuff like that. I think that humans do have free will. That's one of the ways that we're made in the image of God. We have a nous, which is like a spiritual direction that we tend to go into, and that spiritual direction kind of leads our physical lives as well. The things that pop into our mind, the thoughts that pop into our mind, the things we do on a subconscious level, it leads into that, as well as having free will to decide to do those things or to make a different path. And that's in the way that our physical things that we do, i.e. prayer, fasting, and stuff like that, can then go on to influence our nous. And those things can kind of happen in a negative feedback way, or a positive feedback way, depending on kind of how you're feeding those things, whether you're leading into your proclivity or you are using your free will to feed into your nous in a positive way, in a positive feedback way.
Sergeant,
But
yeah.
No, I think I thought that was good, and I think like that's what I was trying to get at was this, like C.S. Lewis and like who else, like William Lane Craig are very similar to what you were saying, Patrick. And I was just asking a clarifying question, not trying to do like a gotcha, but I apparently came across that way. But okay, good, yeah, I like your answer to that. That was good.
So
William Lane Craig, come on, dude. What the farts?
Well, I wasn't trying to
Craig?
bore you. I'm sorry, Duck. I'm sorry for boring you, Duck.
Emmett,
You know?
Emmett and
That's
Doo
fine,
get
it's
to go now. Emmett, Doo,
Yep.
y'all draw straws.
I mean, what?
Y'all draw
You wanna
straws.
contribute,
Emmett,
Emmett?
Doo, one of y'all talk.
I'm waiting on Emmett. He on to go. I'll go after
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Okay.
I was just waiting for Patrick to be done.
He's done.
Okay. Well, when there's a lot of things that were said that I think are kind of very base level criticism for Christianity. Like, we don't think that it's necessary to go to Christian church to know morality. Atheists do use it all the time. They say thing is good, thing is bad, and they pretend to have some kind of way to go through it, to get to it, even though I've never heard any reasoning as of why. The reason why we go to Christianity, or if you want to go to Christianity 99% of the time, has nothing to do with morality. It has to do with salvation and redemption, and that's why Christianity is the best. I've never heard any argument from any other religion that has to do with either redemption and salvation of the soul.
So whenever you say that to somebody who don't believe, I just believe that it's pretty silly because they don't believe in that premise. But here's what I will say, because whenever I ask you the question, why we need God for morality, you say because then man makes himself the standard. But I don't understand why that's a negative thing. You see that as a negative thing because you don't have faith in man. Me, myself, I have faith in man.
It's negative because it's subjective. He's talking about objective.
Let him talk, bro.
So my thing is, I have enough faith in man for men in order to make errors and correct himself. In fact, whenever I look at history, that's what I see. Whenever you go back in history, all you do is see men progressing psychologically, all different types of ways, ethics. You know, we keep getting smarter, we keep progressing. I believe history is progressing. Do you?
No, I do not. Listen, what you're doing right now is you're saying that men are in charge. So you're subjectively making yourself a god. And by making yourself a god, that means everything that you do is only important because you think it's important. That's it.
I absolutely said I just believe that man has the capability.
I still manned your argument.
Control yourself. Can you
I
control
still
yourself?
manned.
You actually did not steal man. You straw man.
You
absolutely
did not.
Being a god. What the
My
That's the most uncharitable shit ever. Like, come on, man.
No. He was saying that it's all subjective. So how I feel is how I feel.
So my premise is that I believe that man has the capability to correct himself whenever they do something.
Okay,
that we see it,
and man has capability to murder somebody too.
Bro,
like,
can
dude,
you shut up?
Like, seriously, listen to the
You're supposed to be
talking.
Christian and all of that, but you're like the most less Christian person on the panel. You have no type of decorum. When I'm speaking, you try to speak over me.
Absolutely no humility.
So you're not a Christian telling me how to be a Christian. That's amazing. All right, I'll be quiet.
But I have more Christian.
That's what I just said. You're not a Christian. Tell me how to be a Christian. Amazing.
Shut up. So
he's not even laying it on thick on you. He's telling you exactly what you just did, Evan. Sorry.
So I'm not proclaiming to be a god. I'm saying that I have faith in man to be able to correct himself. We have things called social contract. We have things called philosophy. We have things called ethics that men create, and then we philosophize about, and then we error, and then correct, and then we all agree to it. We make laws around it. We make our policy around it. That's what men do. And then if we go to y'all side of the board, we have to believe in divine spookiness, right? And then have to just believe you guys and say, oh, it's because we have salvation. It's because we have all this stuff It has to do with the
Ad hom.
We don't have nothing to.
It's not an
nothing
ad
to rely
hom,
on.
dude.
We can't,
That is not an
we
ad
can't rely
hom,
on
dude.
one way or the other.
Dude's using
Let him-
words he
let
doesn't
him-
understand.
Let him riff,
all right.
dude.
Can
Let
I
him riff.
can I
He's
hold
winning
on.
can I
right there.
reply?
Wait. Emmett,
Board secretary was
Emmett,
raising her
no,
hand very politely. We should-
Emmett's gonna go, and then the board secretary is gonna have it for as long as she wants because she's got the keys to the channel and she can mute all y'all if she wants to. So
I
Emmett,
forgot I could do that. Shit.
Emmett, you go ahead.
Well, you talk about these esoteric men as if it means somebody. It's like, oh well, men can do it. Who is the
Men.
man? Oh, you. Okay, then you are God because you're setting up the standard.
I never said me.
Then
Man is
no,
plural.
I ask you directly, man. This is an esoteric man who can do it. Which man?
So a nation
A,
does
a nation.
does it?
So not men, a nation.
Yeah.
You mean the leaders
No,
of the
a
nation?
is men.
No, the nation is
Men
not
and
necessarily
women.
men.
And men implies women also.
Oh my God, who the fuck cares? I know that when we're talking about men in general, in these specific terms, we're talking about humans, and that includes female and male. What the fuck has women have to do with anything?
I said a nation.
A nation, okay, a nation, okay. We're talking about men, and that includes woman for some fucking reason. We need to clarify that.
Because you
Okay,
asked.
it's fucking ridiculous. Of course, I know it includes woman. What the fuck? What the fucking? Oh God,
So
whatever.
did I not answer
The
your
point
question?
is, the point that I'm making is, you're saying men can do it. Okay, which men?
Oklahoma.
Who I am going to
The
listen to
nation
the
state of
standard?
Oklahoma. You got
The
a
nation
group of
state.
men-
Me.
Yeah.
Listen
So
to
you
me.
would say that anything that the nation state says is the moral thing to do. So if you have a nation state that is allowing slavery, you will be okay with it, right?
Not all
Well,
the
there was
time.
many
No,
Christian nations that allowed
I'm not
slavery.
saying that.
Yes, I
men-
don't. Who the fuck cares about what Christian nations do? Okay, I'm
But
asking
it's
directly
it's
questions.
funny.
You want me
about
to,
this.
Here's
answer your
this is
question?
why it's funny.
Hold on. Allow me to answer
I'm
this
not.
question,
I'm not.
please.
I don't care if
You
a
did ask me a
Christian
question.
Let's get it.
nation
Let's go into
in
context.
whatever time and context did something. Who the fuck cares? I don't care about that. I'm asking directly, if a nation state allows slavery, that means he's totally okay with it because men in that nation state allow it, right?
So, in my response to you initially, I said I give men the leeway to err and correct himself. So, no, men are
How do
is
you
not
know they're
always
erring?
absolutely right. Men correct themselves. We did have slavery, and it's almost abolished throughout the world.
No,
When it
it's
used to
not.
be the
There's
norm.
more
error?
slaves right now.
What's error?
I said
There's more slaves
almost
right now that has
abolished.
ever been. How do we know they're erring?
Because we agree on it. We agree on it. And matter of fact, the Bible promoted slavery. So how do we know that the
So,
Bible?
okay, perfect.
it
So the
didn't.
slave
Right or wrong?
owners.
No, it
that
didn't.
said
The
that
Bible
slavery-
describes slavery. It doesn't prescribe it, you fucking idiot.
Okay.
Evan,
Give
Evan.
Christ
So
the
Christian.
Christian body.
The
Wait,
Bible
wait, wait,
doesn't.
wait, give me a
The
second.
Bible does not prescribe slavery, but it does say that hey, if you are gonna, since you're having slaves, treat them this way. You know, there was
And
a
it's
way.
supposed
There's
to
a
change your heart towards them, right?
there was
Glenn?
the way to treat
The
them.
Bible, but the Bible isn't like some small passages on slavery. The Bible and the Quran and just what we know about the people at that time. Totally
this is so
Don't conflate the
irrelevant.
Bible and the
disregard
Quran.
The Bible and the Quran are not the
Everything
same
that I
thing,
just
so only talk about the
Yeah.
Bible, please.
I answered
This
your
is
question.
so
I said
irrelevant
they can
that
make
the
mistakes
critique
and
I'm
then correct
making.
themselves.
So
This is
irrelevant.
where
Your
this is
point.
the part that I have a hard time with, right? Christians often will use God's laws on everyone's heart to explain why non-Christians can be good, but when Christians do
No,
evil,
why
blame
why
it's the
everyone
sin
is under
nature.
the law?
Hold on, let me finish my thought. All right,
You're misrepresenting
Who
the
led the
idea of why
abolitionists?
it is that we have
Let
the
me
law in
Look
our
into
finish
history,
my
heart.
brother.
thought.
Read a book.
and then you could actually answer the question. So if they're saying God's laws on everyone's heart, and that's why they explain it that non-Christians could do morally good things, but then when a Christian does something evil, they blame, well, it's sin nature. So you can't have a double standard here. Either you're moral and God's imprinted on your heart, or Christians fail, it's the flesh. Like, which one
That's
is it?
Glenn, come on, dude. That's a logical fallacy. Stop.
It's not a logical fallacy because that's the question.
Glenn, it's
I'm
to
convinced
say
you
that
don't know
everybody
what
is
fallacy
under the
means.
law. It has nothing to do with their being good or bad. It's pretty much
Just
it's
Glenn,
they're
just
saying
because
that
there's a law
everybody
to not
knows the
murder,
law.
does that mean people don't murder? Stop. That's a dumb freaking argument.
Don't people know that murder is bad?
yeah,
People-
people
they
know
know
it's
they-
bad and
how
they do
and
it.
why?
Just
So-
because you know it's bad doesn't mean you don't do it.
So now that the conversation has devolved once again, because it does that repeatedly, we're going to take this moment to share an educational moment with everyone, and then Beth is gonna have her time to talk. So I hope that y'all enjoy.
I know what's coming up.
What's been prepared for you today. I wanted to add a little bit of education to the channel because that's one of my goals, is to both please and instruct. This is Chairman of the Board with an education minute. Cum, noun, degenerate semen. Cum, verb, degenerate expelling semen. Derived from coomer, noun, a man who indulges in masturbation, by extension anyone who is excessively horny. See this beautiful lady working at a coffee shop, innocently enough, just standing there, and there's the dirty coomer jizzing in his pants while reading his vegan diet book. Cum. All right, I hope that y'all all learned something today.
I didn't know what that is.
Beth, it's your turn.
So, first, real quick, Glenn, the whole thing with that is that, especially when it comes down to like blaming the flesh, but then also saying, you know, and I want to take the whole title of Christianity like off the table. All right, let's just look at scripture, which goes back to also, you know, a lot of Judaism is based on the same scripture, right? So we all have the capacity to do these things, especially when we elevate our own selves to, Emmett was saying, you know, like we make ourselves God. That's not necessarily saying that we're calling ourselves God. We're just putting our own selves and what we want first and foremost. So that's kind of where, you know, yeah, that's the typical argument. On that though, first of all, like all the laws in the US were originally based on Christian ethics to begin with. We can see civilizations that had no God whatsoever, and what they did was what they decided was the best, and they didn't give a shit about a lot of their people, and in most cases it was the most vulnerable people within their population, right? Because they elevated themselves to, you know, I'm going to do what serves me first and what's in my best interest, because that's what all organisms do.
Hold on, she
but
said.
Can you not say that Christian nations have done the same thing, like the Inquisition?
Absolutely. That's why I said, listen, I want to take Christianity off the table. All people have the capability of being evil, right?
But this is why I would say that's unfair, because Christianity usurps morality, right? The commandments. Hold on, because you'll say that the nation was found on Christian ethics. Well, what Christian ethics? Do not kill, do not steal. Like these shit is universal. Like these things things don't belong to Christendom.
They're not universal.
Christianity was born out of Judaism, so therefore
they don't belong to no religion, because these things existed before. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can go before Judaism, like off in Egypt, and they had do not kill, do not steal.
I hate to tell you this, Judaism, the Abrahamic faith, existed at the same time as Egypt did, sweetheart.
Okay, that's fine, but let's go before that.
The idea that this shit was just created, 3,000 years ago is a complete fallacy.
That's not what I'm saying. The point that I'm saying is the concept of do not steal and kill. You say that these belong to Christendom, right?
Yeah,
to the Abrahamic tradition. Well, hold on, but I'm saying that it does not belong to them. You believe that if without God or Christendom or without Jesus, these things wouldn't have existed. I'm saying
who does it belong to?
Time out. I misspoke. This belongs to the Abrahamic religions.
That's what I said.
Traces all the way back to the start of humanity, and we had polytheism running at the same time.
This is all presuppositional.
This is Beth.
No, this is not
presuppositional. We all know that.
Wait, Duck. Why is presuppositional bad? I'm confused.
Presuppositional is bad because what Beth's saying is, well, if we accept the Bible, it's the same thing. Matt and Evan already talked about this. If you say that we have to have universal morality from the tribes of Abraham, well, then you're always going to find universal morality in the tribes of Abraham, and therefore their products. Here too, anything that you see in the Bible is moral. Anything that the Bible says.
When did I say Abraham was correct?
Anyone who's talking down the Bible is talking down to universal reality.
I said Levitical law.
It's circular.
Levitical law came down out of the Abraham religions, right? Okay, we're looking at something that we
here,
get away with something too.
Beth, if you don't mind, I think what you're saying is, well, okay, it came from the God of these faiths. Fine, it still comes from God, not the faith. It's just remove the faith, remove the religion out of it, because if God wrote it upon everyone's heart, it doesn't matter what religion that you believe in or what religion you uphold to. It's already written on your heart. So then why do you still
Glenn, you're literally, dude, this doesn't make
literally
me.
I don't like it. Let me finish my
okay.
We just land my damn plane.
Sorry. All right.
Shit. If
okay,
God
Glenn,
wrote it on your heart, if you believe in God and you're saying God wrote the laws on everyone's heart, then you do not need a religion. You do not need a church. You don't need anything to tell you how to be moral. It's already written on your heart.
Except for
if the laws are written in a book and you don't follow that book, why is that wrong?
Except for the fact, Glenn, that we do all reduce down to the flesh, and the flesh is always going to make us.
But that still means that the laws are written on your heart, and you can make the choice.
Yes, it is.
That's what I'm saying, right? You can make the choice, but you're still going to make the choice for bad things.
That's the battle that's written about.
You know what's right, but you still do the wrong thing. Yeah, wow, this is crazy.
Everyone does that. You know, you do that too.
That doesn't
There's
mean
not one person in this entire audience that hasn't done that.
Pastors haven't stopped that. People don't. They still do that.
I think that there's a lot of religious leaders who are some of the most evil people in existence.
Yeah,
they lead people to do
I
some
agree.
of the most evil things that there are.
Yep.
And it's
Here's a stat from
horrible.
Read It and
Even
Preach
when
It.
we want to make the slavery argument, which the Bible never, absolutely
never prescribed. It described
slavery whatsoever. What it does is it prescribes.
Here's a
Listen,
stat
okay,
from
so
Preach It.
slavery
different
exists.
because saying
Hold
there's
up. I'm in the middle of a fucking
okay.
sentence, sweetheart. Please.
Well, finish the sentence then.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I am.
My bad.
It's okay. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to yell at you. So when slavery is already in existence, the prescription is telling people how to treat them like people, to see them as people, and this is supposed to change your heart and how you do things, right? Because clearly, when you have slaves, your heart's not in the right place, and the prescription is supposed to lead to it being remedied. And the slavery in the world right now is absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific.
That was not my point. I said that it is not as prevalent as it used to be. So the point that I was making is that the world
it's more
crazy.
Evil hasn't changed, dude. Evil is evil, and it's always been evil.
It's always been evil, and it's still in existence. Just because it's not in this.
It's not disingenuous. Evil is evil. It's never changed.
Wait. Do you guys really think slavery is just as prevalent today as it was?
That's what she said.
That's insane.
In Africa and other countries, yes.
There's more slaves right now than it has ever been.
Africa, Asia, trafficking. Yeah, it's bad, dude.
Can I say something? Can I say something real quick? Can I say something?
I want to say one thing because
biblical interpretations of slavery are different. Biblical interpretations are different than everything else.
No. So to answer Matt's question, it's more prevalent based on total count, depending upon how you define what slavery is, right?
Right.
So there are people who are forced into sex and things like that.
I wasn't thinking sex trafficking
and trafficking, but in Africa for sure, there's definitely still slavery, and in some of the other countries like China. And so it just depends on how you define it, right? And
I was thinking about labor slavery.
You're thinking about chattel
slavery. He's talking. He doesn't understand the difference between chattel slavery and indentured servitude. Those are two different things. Indentured servitude and chattel slavery are two different things.
Okay, you can just say biblical slavery is
something else that you also was wrong about, Beth. And I want to read this to you. The concept of Ma'at. You may not be familiar with this, but the concept of Ma'at in ancient Egypt is significantly older than Judaism. Ma'at representing cosmic order, truth, and justice. Is believed to have been a central concept in Egypt culture as early as the Old Kingdom. This is 2686 BC
I wrote a
to
paper
2128.
proving the biblical patriarch Joseph was in Egypt during the 3rd dynasty. Okay, and he was already, trust me, the Abrahamic religions were already alive and well. Okay, like he is quite a bit far down. I can't go through the entire lineage at the moment, but
Yeah.
Jacob or
It starts
Joseph.
with Benjamin, Jacob. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
That's the
going.
one-
How can you prove these figures even existed?
Because
How can
I
you write a
fucking
paper and prove it?
found
All you
him.
can,
He
why are you yelling at me?
Joseph rose to be as the vizier of Egypt. Okay, he became the second most powerful
What?
person in Egypt at that time.
What?
You can
He did,
find
yeah,
the
that's exactly what it was.
inscriptions there
He
to
was
this day.
one under the
Oh
Pharaoh.
my God. Okay.
One under the Pharaoh. He's the
Okay.
one who designed it. Like seriously, I did a whole paper on
Joseph
this shit.
of the Bible became a
Joseph of the
visitor
Bible
in.
became a second. Okay.
What does
I'm not
that matter?
saying
It doesn't matter if he's a visitor. He was under the Pharaoh, just one step below the Pharaoh.
Joseph from the Bible was under the Pharaoh.
Yes.
Yes, Joseph.
So-
Yes, look it up. It's in the scripture and it's even in their history.
No,
This is
Okay.
incredibly
No,
removed
where?
from Beth's
There are
original
sources.
point.
quote the source, man.
I'll pull up a
The
fucking source.
Bible.
The main point
No,
was
I
that
don't want the Bible
pastors-
source. I want the source in Egyptian history to say Jesus.
Oh,
that Joseph
okay.
was
Got
under
it.
the
So
Pharaoh.
Bible
I
is in
didn't
history.
say
Got
Jesus,
it. Okay,
I said
understood.
Joseph,
Right.
I said
So you're
and
just
I'll
an idiot.
Send you my paper.
Cool.
I'll send you my paper.
No, I don't
because
want your
he's
paper.
the
I
one
want
who-
the source that
he's
you
the
say
one-
that's in Egypt.
Yeah,
that
he's
says
an
Joseph
idiot.
was under
He's
the
not
Pharaoh.
gonna.
Well, her
He
paper
doesn't
should
care.
contain the sources.
Joseph is the one who fucking brought the Hebrews into Egypt.
I want
Okay.
to see your
This is
Egyptian source that
great.
you said you have.
Yeah.
Why do
Okay.
you justify one set of guys over another set of guys?
How does this
Just 'cause I'm
how does this
curious,
prove
like-
or
I'll send-
disprove
I'll
that
pull it up. I'll send it
pastors
to you
can
later.
make people
Like
do
the-
bad deeds?
Pull it
Because
up
I
in the
think
middle
Beth
of
made a
the
good
channel.
point there.
But I wrote a
Here's-
whole paper on this. I know exactly what I'm talking about.
But
And
the
it's
thing
believed
is,
I don't
you
think
use
any of
the,
this
you use
is
the Bible
Already
to
been given to
qualify.
major
I don't count.
archaeologists, and I'm totally backed up on this one.
I don't think any of this disproves the idea that pastors could get someone to do something that's immoral, which was Beth's original point. I think that was a salient
She
point.
never said that.
I said that there are some religious leaders in this world who are some of the most evil
Yep.
people in existence. That
Yep,
is
they sure are.
absolutely
Absolutely.
okay.
Yep.
That's
I don't.
what the
I
person
don't
was saying.
excuse that stuff, and I'm not saying that.
No, he said
faith-
all,
I'm
not
saying
some.
that faith-
No, he
I didn't
didn't.
say all.
He literally did not say all.
So
I'm not
going back to
saying-
that,
I'm not
Sorry, it was
saying
most.
that
You're right. It
faith
wasn't all. It
itself-
was most.
It was some.
I'm not saying
You
that
said some.
faith can't be hijacked and used for bad intentions, right? That's the whole point of, morality becoming an issue regardless of whatever faith that you want to go, whatever faith you lay claims to.
I mean, but can't you say that about anything though? Like you'll say the point that like faith can be hijacked and used for bad, but then we'll point out Christians and say, and then you'll say, well, hold on, you say, well, those aren't Christians, and then whenever I say that, humans, right, can just do bad things in general, like, and can still know good morality and ethics, like people gonna do bad stuff. Right, and you don't need like a God in order to say don't do bad stuff. People can just
Now,
come
this
to
is
that
where
on
I
their
agree
own
with
terms.
Glenn,
People just
and
can
it's
be
written on our hearts. This is where I agree with Glenn.
Exactly. And here's the thing is we already see through multiple civilizations throughout time and even today where man without any kind of faith-based ideology that they adhere to, that they choose to adhere to, when they are left to make these decisions based on the cumulative good as they would see it, end up not giving a shit about the most vulnerable parts of their population.
can you name an ancient civilization that wasn't faith-based? Because I can't.
Oh Lord.
What'd you say? What was Cosmic's argument?
One
He wants-
ancient
he wants
civilization that wasn't faith-based.
Faith-based is everything
lots
is
of
faith-based,
tribes
isn't it?
that
Outside of
didn't hear.
agnosticism or not being
Well, we have
Gnostic.
secular society in 20.
Right.
in
So
21st
Gnostic
centuries.
or agnostic, that's the only thing. Everything is a theism.
Well, no, that's the
Gnostic-
faith-based.
Gnostic
No,
is
science is
actually a really
empirical.
weird
Empiricism
religion.
opposes the
Well,
dogma
Well, I
of
can't.
theism.
What'd you say,
Gnosticism
Cosmic? I'm
is
sorry.
faith-based.
No, Gnosticism is faith-based, bro.
Yeah.
How?
Empiricism opposes the dogma of
How do you
presupposition.
know you're gonna
But you
wake
have
up
to have
tomorrow?
faith in the empiricism in order to be able to apply it, right? You can't just say that the empiricism is.
Early
No, it would
Gnostics
have to be
would have said that
demonstrated
matter
So,
is
first.
I was correct
and
earlier when I
materialism
said
bad.
that
Like,
just I think therefore I am is silly.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I'm anti-enlightenment for sure, but that doesn't
Okay.
mean that these people are.
All right. No.
No,
I just want to
I
make
don't
sure I
think that
was
is
correct
silly.
earlier.
I think you could add more to it, but for what it says, yeah, no, it is true that our thoughts originate from ourselves.
Okay,
from our
so
brain.
Cosmic, I know this is going to be sort of like not nice, but do you have faith in the fact that you are not a man? You're a woman.
Okay.
Is that
So
correct?
Oh, hold on, wait. Cleaner's on a
Going back
journey.
to science
Everyone,
is a theism, right?
everyone congratulate
I'm trying to
Cleaner.
address
Wait,
that.
wait, hold on, wait. Everyone
sorry.
congratulate Cleaner on the
I'm
fact that
trying
he's
to
on a
get your-
journey. Journeys are
Good job,
important
Cleaner.
for
Congratulations,
self-discovery.
taking a
Cleaner.
first
Why
step.
aren't you up here?
Yeah.
First and second
By
step.
the
Yeah,
way, the
where's
Pariah
Cleaner?
W in the chat.
Amazon,
Cleaner, get
the
up here,
Pariah
you
tribe in the
freaking
Amazon
Bartard.
is apparently
Oh.
had no when they were
Shut up,
contacted,
Dodger.
they had no religious beliefs in the conventional sense.
So again,
Sorry, I missed that. I got distracted.
no,
for a
but
second.
Fox, I'm asking you a question. Like, do you? Okay, you have to have faith in the fact that you think that you're not a man, but you're a woman.
What does this have to do with science being a theism?
That I'm trying to get to the point.
My point is that science cannot be a theism because it opposes
You
the
just
dogma
ignore the
of
question.
theism
Okay.
inherently.
You're like I said, you're being Gnostic. You're not being a theist. You're being Gnostic.
Okay, so when I drop a ball and I test the acceleration of gravity and things like the
So
viscosity
when
of
you
air and
drop
stuff like
balls, you test the gravity of things.
Yeah.
Are
So
you
I
being
can
serious
say-
right now?
I can say if the acceleration of gravity,
So you're some
of the
sort of
Earth's
like
surface-
you're literally saying you're like an
yeah,
experimental
if I can make a
physicist?
prediction and get the results I predicted, then I'm
So
not
you're
being
an
dogmatic.
experimental physicist. Is that what you're saying?
Do you understand what dogma is, Evan?
I understand what dogma is, yeah. But what I'm
So is it
asking you, the
dogmatic
question
to
I'm
test
asking
your
you,
beliefs?
No,
Is
it
it
doesn't.
dogmatic to test your beliefs?
what?
Yeah, but can you prove that they'll happen every time? Or can you prove that
Yeah.
they'll probably happen most of the time?
How will you prove that? How?
Hi, Cleaner.
You'll
So
you'll
we
prove
can-
they'll probably
Hey,
happen
hold on.
most of the time by
We can
testing them over
do
and over.
something
That's
called
what
an
they'll do.
experiment.
You can't
And
prove
with
they'll
No,
happen.
no, Cosmic.
experimentation-
If yesterday happened and today, right? The
Yeah.
sun kind of rised and it set. How do you know it's going to happen tomorrow?
Oh, through inductive logic, but that's not the science I'm talking about. The science I'm talking
Which
about
is
going
not
back to the
justifiable.
ball.
Okay, so your
epistemologically,
scientist
bro.
moves around whenever you feel like it should move around.
No,
Okay.
because
Yeah,
for
bro,
example,
you
the time it
move
takes
around.
for a ball of a fixed mass at a fixed distance from the ground to fall will not change regardless of what I believe it should.
What are you
Unlike
talking about? I'm talking about a
religious
ball.
dogma.
A ball can do different things. If I drop a ball, it's going to bounce one way or another. It can't. It's not always going to bounce the
I
same
just
way.
talked about the time it takes to hit the ground.
It doesn't
Because we're
matter. It can bounce
testing the
left. It can bounce
acceleration of
right. It
gravity.
can bounce horizontally,
That
vertically.
was
What are
not
we
part
talking
of
about?
our
Stop that.
experiment.
What I'm
you
asking
understand
you
that-
experiment.
is if the sun rises today and it sets today, how do you know it's going to happen tomorrow?
That's through inductive reasoning. That's not the same thing as science.
It's
Which
oh
isn't
my God.
justifiable epistemologically. That's not justifiable.
No, actually,
What
inductive
he's
reasoning
saying,
is
that's what he's saying.
justifiable.
It is because logic exists outside of the conscious experience. It's discovered by humans, and therefore it's a product of nature. And as long as you're living according to nature, then you are living a good life, right?
Paganism
So
for the win.
You don't have to.
How's that paganism for the win?
Just kidding.
Well, that is
Just like
actually
whatever.
that is actually pagan logic.
Well, no, it's Christian logic that pagans took over.
No,
But
no,
yeah, sure.
actually the
Other way
Stoics,
around.
the Stoics
It's not.
had a logical
No, not
structure.
really.
The Stoics had a logical structure that existed that was
History.
co-opted by the Christians. So it's actually the Christians who took the pagan logic.
Exactly.
Well, this
the
is
Stoics.
okay. Are we gonna do the argument, Anson? Are we gonna do the whole argument of that Christianity, or sorry, Christmas is a pagan thing that we took over?
No, I'm going to do the argument that the people who wrote the Christian portion of the Bible, that's not the Jewish version, the Christian portion were written by,
but
they were
can't-
Greeks.
Wait, you can't
They
exclude
were Greeks.
that. You
They
can't
were
exclude
Greek.
Moses
You
from
can.
writing
No, they weren't.
the
Well,
Torah.
Yeah, they were
That doesn't
Greeks.
work.
They were Greeks, and they had a culture that existed that colored their writing during the time of the writing of the Bible. Because
So because
the
they were
Roman-
more
Yes, and I'm
fake,
gonna
they were more
talk
infamous.
about
That means
the
that they were
no,
right,
it
and
was
we
written
were.
in Greek for the
What are we
easy
doing?
for people to read it.
what I'm saying is that
They
during
were
the
just
time
always
period that
dramatic
the
people.
Bible was written by men, those men had a culture, and that culture had a specific set of ethics and understanding of how the universe worked, and that
And you
was
think it
what
was
color-
before Moses?
No, I'm talking about the Christian portion of the Bible, not the Jewish.
The New
portion of the
Testament.
Bible.
He's talking about
What
the
does it
27
matter?
books of the
Oh
New
my God.
Testament.
The
Okay.
New
It matters a
Testament
lot.
Was still
Evan,
written
do you not
by
follow the
Semitic
10 Commandments,
people. It
though?
was
I'm
just
sorry to
written in
argue
Greek
Evan's side
for the
here, but
ease of
Evan,
more people to read it. Dude.
or sorry, Chairman, you agree that like the 10 Commandments is something a Christian should follow, right?
Well,
I'll be right back.
I'm assuming that's a very important part of their religion, based on my understanding.
Oh,
of
sorry,
Christianity.
I thought, my bad. I thought you were Christian.
Why?
I don't know. I thought I knew. I thought that was something that you had stated.
No. He's conservative,
Well,
not Christian.
actually,
yeah.
that's
I was just
possible.
mistaken about
That's-
you, and I
no,
apologize. No,
no, that's
I realize now I was
possible.
mistaken.
Yeah, last year I was Christian for about 2 months.
Yeah.
And then I went back to atheism, which I've been atheist since I was probably 14 or 15 years old. But I had a bit of a crisis last year, and I'm actually considering converting to Christianity again.
Two
but
Joeshins, I like that. That was
I have
funny.
to I have to figure out like the whole faith part of it.
You change religions more than I change gender.
Yeah, well,
Shut the hell up, Cosmic. Get out.
I'm open to experience.
Right.
Melanie.
And that was the point that I was making. Like, humans can err, and I respect the fact that you are trying different things. There's nothing absolutely wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? And then the fact that you come back to atheism and you feel that it's rational and logical. And then I hear you speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, I respect that. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's to the point that I was making overall, that as humans, we progress in this life and we are bound to our own decisions. Now, it's other people that's on the religious side that think that we're bound to something else, through salvation and all this other bells and whistles. But I would more rather be on the side of the atheist side, to where I'm responsible, for myself and the decisions that I make. Not trying to make myself as a god, but I just want to be responsible for my own decisions.
So, are you a theist?
No.
You're not a theist, even though you said you're atheist?
No, I said I would be on the side of the atheist.
I don't think that's a word concept fallacy.
That's
sure.
exactly the definition of a word concept fallacy.
Sure, if you want to say that, but what is the how do you spell the word? Can you spell atheist for me?
I fuck with semantics.
What the fuck?
What does the
bro?
prefix "a" mean? When
this
we add
dude
the
off the
prefix
fucking
"a" in
without,
front of
like,
things,
we're not.
Sure. What is the O in O'Brien mean?
You can
Cosmic?
also say
Evan,
concept, right?
Evan,
hang on,
this
hang
is
on,
the word
hang on.
concept fallacy.
Let me
All
ask you
right,
something.
you're a
Clean
dumbass.
it,
Clean it,
level
get
When
it.
you take the ass part out,
Oh
it
my
means
God.
something different.
Let me just
Yeah,
ask
like
the question.
contra-
Cosmic.
So like
Cosmic.
one position is contra.
Just give me
cleaner,
one
right?
moment, please.
If I say
What the fuck
contra
What
is
does
cleaner,
three?
that means
word
without
O?
against
What does the
cleaner,
letter
or a
O in
cleaner that
O'Brien
is
mean?
cleaner.
What does
I
that
think
have
What
to
does
do
that
with
mean,
Christ
Cosmic?
being
You're
China?
not answering my question, which is when
I
we
just
add
want to
"a"
ask
at
you
the
that
prefix
question.
to
I'll
thing.
answer yours. What does the O in O'Brien mean?
I don't actually know. Please answer my question now.
Okay. All right, cool. Ask the question. I'll do it again. All right.
When we add the prefix "a" in front of a word, what does that normally mean?
Oh my goodness. Are
Sure.
we doing this right
Yeah,
now?
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
No, you don't.
It means
Then
no,
explain it.
basically. It means no.
Without that thing, right? So it means
It,
without.
it, yeah,
negation,
it means
man.
no.
Lindsay,
Yeah, I
Lindsay
understand.
Smith. Lindsay Smith has
Negation.
the
That's what I'm
answer.
asking you, though. What
It
is
means-
the
hold on,
O?
wait.
Let's see
Evan,
what that says.
Evan,
Hey, Cosmic.
Evan, wait,
What is the
Evan,
Mac
Evan,
in
Evan, wait,
McDonald
Evan,
mean?
Evan,
What does the
Evan,
Mac
wait,
mean?
Wait, Evan.
God damn it.
All right. Lindsay Smith has the answer to your question. O means it's Irish.
No, it does not.
Irish.
False. What does
Oh.
the Mac in McDonald mean?
I don't know,
It
Evan.
means-
What does the mom and your mama
It's
It
a
mean?
means
fuck.
Scottish.
What the fuck? What?
Who cares?
Yeah, seriously.
Who
you're just
cares?
sidestepping.
Yeah,
have
who
to
fucking
have-
cares?
Listen, semantics are important. The only reason we have what we have as a society is because we have set rules of how we speak.
He
Okay,
called you
okay.
out on
Evan, you want to play
He
word
called
games?
you out
Evan,
on
you want to play
doing
word games, buddy? Are
Lindsay
you
Smith.
cisgendered?
There we go.
You want to play
Lindsay
some fucking
Smith.
word
There you go.
games?
Good job.
You wanna play some
Cisgender,
fucking
you
word
really
games?
that jealous? You're gonna be
Yeah,
falling
Evan,
Lindsay
right
Smith,
now.
good-
You're the
good
one
job.
that-
Play some word games, buddy. Are you cisgendered?
Like you committed a word concept fallacy.
I don't
and you're trying
react to that
explain
question
that
because
away by
cisgendered
asking
is a
dumbass
semantically
questions.
null sentence.
Okay, we're
Semantically,
gonna
no.
try talking one.
Lindsay
at a time.
Smith, thank you.
We're gonna try talking one at a time. Okay, so
Jackass.
So
one
for-
at a time. We're
Okay, so
gonna
for-
we're gonna
May I
start
go?
with Cleaner because he hasn't said a whole lot and he's kind of
Yeah,
new
I'll
to
let
the channel.
I'll let
It's just
Clinton talk.
arriving.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Evan asked a question earlier. It's a very simple question. If you understand what it is that the concept of God is, like the explanation of the concept of God, Evan said, can God himself make a rock that he himself cannot lift? The answer is yes. It's very simple. Yes. If God chooses to pose limitations on himself, then he can indeed make a rock that he himself cannot lift. He proved this to us in the past when he became Jesus. He created limitations on himself that he, the deity form, did not have. So yes,
Good
he can
point.
do that. Now, the understanding of God, when Matt was asking the question that was talking about free will and determinism, all right, God is an infinite being. The concept is that God sees all time as if all time is now. So for God, this free will thing is for us to understand in the linear. Everything that is here in this planet, like in this plane of existence, God created for our path to heaven. All of it is created for us to learn and evolve into heavenly beings. Everything from the sociopath that doesn't understand what they're doing wrong to the psychopath that doesn't care to the person who is over emotional and feels everything in the world and feels bad for everyone that's hurt in every way, shape, or form. All right. All of these things are placed in the world for us to all gain an understanding of. General people, generally, like the mass majority of people, are not the exceptions to the rules. The exceptions are the things that are meant to show us the extremes, the things that are outside the norm.
All right.
This is the fallacy that people have when they're trying to understand God. God for the religious person is a fact, not a presupposition.
All right.
Hey,
So,
Can
I
I-
just
okay.
wanted to no, hold on. I wanted to congratulate
That's
Lindsay
fine.
on getting the clap. And I think Melanie, you wanted to make a closing statement.
Yeah, because I should get going.
Thank God.
I think it's interesting.
All right. So we're gonna let Duck and Glenn say some stuff because they haven't talked in a while. Duck, you go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing, there's two things I would say. One is science, I mentioned this in debate, produced a very accurate point today. And funnily, that point was about precision. It's saying that the laws of quantum, quantum theories don't limit the precision of a system which has entropy, which is every system. So it's saying the second laws of thermodynamics, which we think should make it harder, it should make it impossible to make accurate, precise quantum systems like a quantum computer. It's saying that that's not an engineering challenge. That's also probably like a law of the universe, right? And so this stuff isn't all earth-shattering, but when we talk about something like morality or ethics as well, having that secular worldview does the same thing. It helps us answer questions like the trolley problem in a more precise way. And so, this is, the main point, I really wanted Evan to confront this a little bit. I thought we had a really fun conversation. But the sort of main point is that like we can come together when there's information, when there's new knowledge being shared. It's difficult to come together when there is this old book, and I don't think we ever actually do that. That's all I had to say. I want to hear what Glenn has to say, though. I'm just processing stuff like a computer right now, so being completely honest.
So, can I just bring up something that I think that it can help sort of change the idea of people's minds?
Yeah,
when it comes to death and life and all that.
As long as Glenn doesn't have anything important to say.
If Glenn wants to talk, I'll shut up.
never really have much important things to say, but pissing people off.
Shut up, Glenn. You're smart. Shut up.
When I look at this, okay, I will say that if God's laws are written on our hearts, then that means Christianity, the religion in itself, that was created after God wrote these things on your hearts, is to say that, Christians have the morality clause. Well, no, God has a morality clause. God has a monopoly on morality, not Christianity, not any religion. So if it's already written on your heart, then we don't need this Christian ethics to say that this is what is needed, because it's already written on your heart. You just need to follow what's written on the law that's written on your heart.
Okay. Well, okay. So let me say two things to that to the argue on that. So the first thing is this. Why are we all upset at death? Like if somebody dies, your mom, your dad, a sister, why are we upset about it?
Why are we upset?
Because we're
about
selfish and we want them to be here with us.
No.
It's a selfish thing.
I would say this. It's because we're all right. If you could look at the Garden of Eden, let's say, right? They live forever. That was supposed to be the whole thing. They effed it up, went away. We are immortal souls, okay? And so because we're immortal souls, when someone dies, it's sort of like, what the farts? Like, why is this person dying? I don't understand why they're dying. It doesn't make any sense. So, because we're immortal souls, that would bring me back to what Glenn was just saying a moment ago, right? Just because the law is written on our hearts doesn't mean we don't. What is Jeremiah? I think Jeremiah 27 something says. Forget the heart. Jeremiah 27 something says the heart is deceiving basically above all, right? So the heart means nothing. Just because God said it's written in our hearts means nothing, because our brains also.
Okay, so Evans had a lot to say, so I'm gonna let Dude talk some.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get out of here after this too, and I appreciate you guys. But I see it like this, you know. I feel like you guys appeal to authority, right?
Yep.
But the thing is, the authority is nobody can question them, right? Whenever I ask you guys, you know, you appeal to authority, and then you say it's in this book or God said it. But if I put my faith in man, you know, we can hold each other accountable. I can't hold no God accountable. I can't hold that book accountable. So I would much rather hold man accountable for this existence and this pain that I'm at, rather than try to, you know, believe y'all's God's book or the feeling that you say that you have, right? And I feel like that's where we just stand there right there. Like, I'm gonna put my faith in man in order to figure it out, you know, and you guys put your faith in the book or God and the feelings that you have. So I just want to say peace to you guys. Thanks.
Dude, before you go,
But
real
you
quick
put your
though.
faith in
Hold up,
nothingness, and that's
Evan,
what's interesting.
Evan, I'm talking. Wait. Do. But so like if you're putting your faith in men, right? Then you would by